Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming to an evening with an evening of poetry at the Poughkeepsie Public Library District. Although we're not there, we're all in the comfort of our own homes. I'm Deborah Schoen, and I coordinate the evening by trying to beg poets to on the third Thursday of every month to share their art with us. And I've known Cassandra for what, about 10 years now, Cassandra?
Yes.
And Cassandra's been a feature of mine through the years. So thank you so much for agreeing to be our feature. I'm a big admirer of your work, and I just—
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for sharing your art with us. And I don't know what else to say except that I love your work, and I hope everybody enjoys you as much as I do. So I'm gonna sign off, and I'm not sign off, but just mute myself because, well, I don't like listening to myself, that's for sure.
And Deborah is a pretty good poet herself. I never forget the post office poem, the stamp poem. Yeah, I love that one.
You're on, so.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Cassandra D. Clarke. And yes, it's Black History Month. And so I have some poems in honor of that also. I have some older poems and some of the new ones I'll present. So I just want to thank everybody for logging in and for the support. I entitled the entire presentation as Black History Month Poets Have Been Called. And so I thought that would be nice. Okay. And the first few poems are okay for, in my opinion, for children's ears. So I wanted to let you know that also. Okay. Yes, it's Black History Month again. That's the actual title of the poem. Yes, Black History Month again. Black History Month helps define us. Black History Month reminds us that our opportunities have not been like the rest in America, but squeezed into time frames perpetuated to make sure that we have less. Even when our accomplishments were the best, we were threatened if we stuck out our chest and subjected routinely to artificial and real bias tests. So we take this month for whom our Black and brown ancestors died for, to replant seeds of power and to give us new strength, to recommit, to learn every hour so that our future lives are not devoured, to never be cringy or rage quit, but to wear our new mom sneakers and be proud to even talk loud, frolic with our locks and style, and let our shades of color sparkle like gems, to be physically fit so that we can always be lit. Black History Month reminds us to really take a stand for who we are, to play a part, and not just in the arts. Okay, so I just want to thank my my one granddaughter for the terminology, some of the new terminology that children are using, like cringy and rage quit. So I just want to thank her for that, Cameron. Also, you know, this type of poem helps to acknowledge us and also to define us, to define who we are, because that actually has not been done. So it's a really important type of meaning to the poem. I have another poem that's called A Play on Words, and it is actually that, a play on words. We can have fun with poetry too, so this poem demonstrates that. It's called A Play on Words. And here goes. Jajingle, jajingle. What kind of lingo is that? I was in a dream. I thought I fell. But here comes Hannibal, and then I was swell. Jajingle, jajingle. It was a miracle. Can't you tell? So that's it for that one. Okay. I have let's see, we'll go to another poem that's related to Black and brown women. And this poem is called Black and Brown Women Using God's Power. And I do believe in God, so this is a privilege to present this poem. Black and brown women, always moving forward as someone's something else, as caregivers, caretakers, the doctor and being the lawyer, the mom, the sister, or the wife, being a birther of life, struggling through all kinds of strife, and then watching life destroyed, all the while trying to find a place of peace, while unable to remove the gossip and the lies as sure as the sunrise. Aspects of life seem so sour, but there is hope, even at the last hour, when you use God's power, and suddenly you smell his flowers, and our generation of youth flourish into Black girl power. Thank you for that poem. And as you can see, it's also a poem of hope. Thank you so much. Another poem is called We Fought for Years. And this poem is, like, I wrote this poem, I think, maybe 5 years ago, but it's very relevant even today. And it's called We Fought for Years. Oh, we hurt, we battled daily, 24/7. We battled a strange helplessness and we waited. We kept praying, we cried, we kept asking why, we kept meeting, we kept marching. We kept talking, we kept communicating, we kept understanding, we kept searching, we kept trying, we kept hoping, we kept standing, we kept demanding, and we kept going, looking for actions. But the only words that were spoken were just words. And I heard they thought we were joking. And okay. Thank you. I have another poem, and it's called DDP. DDP means Deep Daily Persecution. This poem was written in 2014, and it's related to the Black History Month, of course. But again, it also has hope. And I call it DDP, Deep Daily Persecution. Here it goes. I am trying in this world. All human beings in time stumble, especially when the earth suddenly rumbles beneath your feet and your Black self is removed and placed upon a 7x7 cubic feet shelf. You reach out and there is never any help. Hope always has to be searched for and your dreams always fall. Finding your way does not even guarantee your pay. Daily persecution means you have no say. You will not get directions because you have no connections. Smiles around you come from places you can't even feel. They mean nothing and are just part of the persecutor's deal to squeeze all hope out of you. So now you can't even feel. But the earth shakes, and suddenly you must kneel. And the spirit of the soil of earth acknowledges that you have toiled, and real change shall now take place. Thank you. That's the end. Okay. All right. I have a poem. Actually, I have a poem dedicated to a poet. We have a poet who really, I thought, really worked hard to get poetry going in the Hudson Valley. And I thought that was really kind of special. And that poet, a lot of people know her, that's Poet Gold. And so I made this poem for her. And, you know, as poets, we want to support each other. And that's basically what this is all about. I didn't know her, and, you know, I've gone to some of her readings, and they were really very powerful. And I've learned to know that she's a really good poet. So I wrote this poem in Black History Month because it's a time that we should celebrate our Black poets, and which we are now doing. It's called Poet Gold. I heard a lot about this Poet Gold. I thought, how long will she last? When will she fold? But she didn't, and I give her credit for being a great poet. And it's not just that she is bold. She was willing to take on the workload and to travel on the road, bringing poetry to every single soul. She kicked butt bringing living poetry to the Valley. She declined presenting her poetry in some alley. Folks have been snowed by her smooth poetry of the untold. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that one. And this is a special poem about my father, who we used to travel down south, and around the time when I was of the age where you can really know what's going on a little bit, 1963, 1964. And it was some dangerous times to travel in the South. But we went there because my mother is originally from the South. She was originally from the South. And I also wanted to say thanks to poets like Maya Angelou and Nikki Giovanni and Amanda Gorman. So we're grateful for those poets also. And this poem is called My Father Had a Gun for Protection. My father served his country to protect it. So he drove this country. He carried himself as a USA Black #1. We went south, Alabama south from New York, entering Southern land where race determined your life's pace and sometimes even your fate, where you could get killed, maybe even a bullet to your face, and it's still determined after that that there is no case. Driving 5 miles up and over the first hill, across was ablaze with red fire. But my father had protection. His only concern was early detection regarding his protection. Thank you. Okay. And because we're in COVID, everybody's affected by this COVID in different ways. And I also have a COVID poem. And I also have a poem because of, you know, what happened, as we all know, with Floyd. And it's just called the Floyd Poem. Um, and it's called, entitled it, "We Are Not Going Back." And the first line or two, the second line does acknowledge the support of other people, specifically whites in America, who gave a lot of support regarding the difficulties of Black lives and recently. And it was very important to acknowledge that support, I thought. And it's also very important to get that support. So here is the poem. It's called "We Are Not Going Back." And we acknowledge whites who have our backs. I wondered his reason for the hell he imposed at the moment of the kill. All our hearts laid still. I couldn't turn away. My eyes stayed. That act was even more than just hate. Kill, anger at a Black man, knowing that you could not take him down without a gun, and you could not catch him, even if you had to run. Anger that he had courage and applied to be a security person anyway, even with the barriers of racism put directly in his way. That for you was a slap in your face. You believe success should never be part of a Black man's legacy, let alone his race. Your actions say it, your laws portrayed it, though your hate was secretive as you wore your badge. Your spirit spoke it as you came in for the kill. You repositioned your knee until Floyd was dead and still. Secrecy couldn't even continue with a DAR. What was it? Something at the bar? Was Floyd about to buy a new car? Afraid he'd walk around town like he was a star? It's hard to believe that racism made you go that far. Or were you just trying to bring back Black men's torture from the days afar? The end. Thank you so much for that. I have, I'll go back to the COVID poem. I think we'll do that one. And then perhaps we will do maybe two more after that. Okay. The COVID poem is called COVID Poem.
Okay, so can you hear me, Cassandra?
Yes,
Oh, okay. All right, so you're gonna end with that, or are you gonna do that now?
I'm gonna do that now, the COVID poem, and then I have one more to end with.
Okay, and and I guess people can unmute themselves. We have like 7 people. Is anybody here have anything that they'd like to read? All right, well, after your COVID poem, Cassandra, I'll read my my post office poem.
Okay, that would be great.
All right.
And then I'll close with one more, it's very short peace poem. And
Sure.
it's called The Apology. Okay. So
Sure.
all right, so I'll go ahead with the COVID poem. Here it is. Oh no, working from home. Use your imagination to be creative. Hearing that the cat ate it, now wishing you were deaf tone. Kids flying their drones and yelling, not inside. Hearing breaking tones and crashing bones. Technology staring inside your home. and then a broken crone, whining for a table of their own, little ones trying to go outside alone, big ones arguing, thinking they are grown, workers calling you on both your phones, even in your home. COVID, leave me alone. So that's the COVID poem. Okay, all right. So Deborah, I'll just, after you finish, I'll do this last one, but we want to hear that post office poem. I love that one. Yes.
So it's also kind of like a work of art, and I'm not expecting you to read it, but I took stamps that I loved and I put it around the poem. So it's called My Purple Heart. I love going to the post office, that federal agency where they confer upon me my purple heart. There I can receive love forever, or take up the fight against breast cancer, or purchase legendary smiling faces like Ray Charles, Lucy, Mother Teresa, Porky Pig, and Snowman. Unlike the exorbitant fares at the airport, I can fly my materials first class, making me feel like a first-class citizen. I wonder when they are going to award me my Congressional Medal of Honor, or do I have to go on eBay for that?
Okay.
So thank you, Cassandra. Thank you so much for hosting this evening. Your poems were very, very powerful as I read some of the comments, and they were very moving. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why this is, I'm sorry. I apologize for the background noise. So let me mute myself so that we can hear you.
Hi, this is Gene. I have a poem. When Cassandra's done, I have a poem I'd like to read.
Oh, you can go ahead. I'll close with mine. So we inviting other poets to do a poem.
Okay. All right. So I haven't been writing poetry for a very long time, but I was maybe 30, 40 years ago writing some poetry. So anyway, I have this one. It's called The Giving Lake. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with the book. Maybe you've read it to your children or grandchildren, called The Giving Tree. So this is called The Giving Lake.
Okay.
I live between mountains. I was born here. I will always be here if you care for me. Come in and stroke me, jump on me, dive into me. I will nourish your body as you glide along my path. Life grows within me. Cast your rod over me. I will provide food. I will provide serenity. I am partners with the wind in the game of sailing. Explore my surroundings while you tack and come about. As I get older, unpleasantries appear. Gasoline is exhausted into me, providing you pleasure, but making me feel ill. I was born to live eternally. I was born to provide life. I was born to give pleasure. Take care of me for your sake.
Nice. Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
You know, you can do sometimes go back to the old poems and update them. I like to do that too. So look at your old poems and bring them on. I know Deborah would be glad to have you. Okay, so is there anyone else that has a poem? If not, I'm going to do this closing poem, and it's called An Apology. I actually was at a one of the monthly poet series at the library the third Thursday, and there was a poet there, and he apologized for some of the Black experience. That was very important. He's a white male, and he apologized. So I had this response to the apology. It's called "The Apology Was Heard. It was appreciated. It had power. It came at the right hour. Words of peace are spirit fed. My heart can now almost breathe. And maybe now I'll take my angry poetry and leave. Before the apology in rhythmic form, I was about to go after your consciousness, reminding you that our lives felt like nonsense. When you spoke of peace, and all the while you commanded our bloodshed and lied about what history said. But if the spirit of peace is said, the dead shall be dead, and we shall all move ahead. Reminders shall only be in the books we've read. The end. And so that ends my poetry series. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Thank you
doing
very
it.
much. It was really, really very
It
nice.
was wonderful,
Thank you. Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it also. It was very good. You had some powerful ones.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I like the
Thanks.
George Floyd one. That was something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a hard time in
A lot
America.
of value.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. But we have to remember those things. It's, you know, like the Holocaust and things like that. You always want to remember so that we can prevent those things from happening again.
Yeah, we never want to go backwards.
Yeah.
Always forward. Yeah.